Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about Jacksonville Jaguars Day 2 OTAs. Now, this was actually yesterday. Trevor Lawrence with the deep pass to Diami Brown. And I wanted to talk about this because Diami Brown apparently was the best wide receiver on the field yesterday. And, he's the new acquisition from the Washington Commanders. And I got this excerpt from Sports Illustrated, article from Justin Lewis. Free agent wide receiver Diami Brown, who's in his first year after signing a one-year contract, running alongside Thomas, Hunter. Brown made it clear that defenses will not be able to consider him as an afterthought. Displayed crisp routes, was one of the few receivers who did not deal with drops, and made explosive plays both through the air and on design touches as a ball carrier. So, he got praise from Liam Cohen. He got praise from a bunch of different Jags offensive coaches yesterday after OTAs. And, Diami is one of these guys where he was so important. He was so vital at various points last season for Washington that it was he's one of those players, and we mentioned this yesterday, where it's like, if you know, you know. If you watched the Commanders, if you watched their playoff run, Diami Brown was constantly making a couple of plays per game, both regular season and postseason, that really helped that offense. But, he joins Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas, so just another cog in this brand new Jaguars offense. But let's get to some clips from today. Did a whole video on Travis Hunter here. This is an insane, unbelievable, elite level catch. I don't care that it's just practice. I don't care it's day 2 of OTAs. It doesn't matter to me. That is an extremely athletic catch. Let's see if we can get it timed a little bit properly. I mean, he's just full on extending. So I know we talk a lot about Travis Hunter, and I want to get into all the other players for Jacksonville, but I did just want to say he is still learning on becoming a full-time receiver. So we heard in rookie minicamp about a week ago that Travis Hunter was only getting offensive snaps, and they were going to move him to defense during OTAs. Well, we're at OTAs now, and he's still offense. He's still a wide receiver, and the reason is because he just needs to get more acclimated at that position. In my opinion, and in everyone, all the scouts' opinions heading into the draft, Travis Hunter was a better defensive back than wide receiver. But obviously the athleticism, the fact that he's able to play both positions makes it just insane. But what we did here is that apparently Hunter's first OTA practice was a noticeable step forward. All right. Rookie minicamp, there were some clips that went on Twitter. I know people were saying this didn't happen in our video yesterday, but it did happen. And I'm not saying they were right. I don't think they were right. But just like one clip of Travis Hunter catching a football with his body went viral, and people were saying, see, he's not a good wide receiver. But apparently Hunter was crispier in his routes, showed consistent hands, and was able to make a number of plays in team drills. But let's get into some other players. All right, here is the Jaguars hitting the bag. People were wondering what this is about. It seems like the main theory is this is for special teams. Maybe it's pass protection. Who really knows? But anyways, I just wanted to use this to talk about competition, because Liam Cohen keeps talking about it. Your GM keeps talking about it. The Jaguars staff has made it abundantly clear that there is a current clean slate on the roster, and that means very, very, very few players are locked into starting roles. So I know, we do this every single minicamp, we do this every single OTA, every single training camp, and we always have comments from other teams saying this doesn't matter, this doesn't matter. It may not matter for like Brian Thomas or Trevor Lawrence or some of the proven studs on this roster, but it matters for every single person else. They're trying to make the roster. They're trying to get playing opportunities. They're trying, maybe even just having a good OTA season with Jacksonville. If Jacksonville cuts them loose, they get on waivers, maybe another team wants it. So this matters for every single player, just about. Even Trevor Lawrence and even Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas. I mean, I shouldn't even mention Travis because that's obvious. But anyways, let's get into a different clip. All right, so I'm sure you guys have seen this on Twitter because this happened yesterday where Trevor Lawrence just didn't have a good day. First day back from a shoulder surgery anyways. But I wanted to use this just to give you an overall OTA, notable highlights, stats, all that kind of fun stuff. And, Trevor Lawrence didn't have the best day, but like we mentioned, Diami Brown apparently, blew everybody away. Eric Murray had really good defense, brand new acquisition from the Houston Texans in the backfield, or the secondary, sorry. The defense apparently was way ahead of the offense, which, considering Trevor Lawrence's injury, and just that's always what happens in OTAs, training camp, doesn't matter, preseason, even maybe not preseason, but in the summer, the defense is always going to be ahead of the offense. So that's nothing concerning to me. But Eric Murray and the defense apparently had good days. Now, the guy on the screen here, Mr. Trevor Lawrence, QB1, had 2 interceptions, but he wasn't the only one, all right? Nick Mullins also threw a pick. John Wolford threw a pick. There were unfortunate fumbles from Nick Mullins and Bashea Tutin. And we mentioned Tutin yesterday. You know, the running back one bid kind of took a huge drop yesterday because he had a fumble that was actually returned for a touchdown. And I've got it right here from Josh Hines-Allen, scoop and score touchdown on the Tutin fumble. But outside of that, Darnell Savage had an interception from Lawrence on an underthrow. Jerry and Jones had an interception that was tipped from Patrick Washington. Ventrell Miller had a good day. McPherson, I guess, missed a play. Oh, had an Miller and McPherson also had interceptions. My bad there. But yeah, defense, good day for the defense. Trevor Lawrence, a little bit shaky, but that's just what's going to happen, man. He just had off-season shoulder surgery. Yeah, the rumor mill is there were a lot of overthrows. We just mentioned the Darnell Savage interception. But apparently there were also a lot of dropped balls. Dyami Brown not included on that. So this is just day 1, day 2 OTA stuff, man. This is just always what happens. It's never going to be perfect. The defense is always going to be, blowing away the offense. You're going to see it, whether it's Trevor Lawrence. Not too many teams are in OTAs this week. So like next week, the 27th, 26th, a lot of these teams are beginning their OTAs, and you're going to see like, oh, Joe Burrow threw 3 picks at practice today. Baker Mayfield threw 2 picks. Do they miss Liam Cohen? You're just going to see quarterback interceptions literally everywhere. So that's going to be it for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Quick little video, day 2 OTAs for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I believe you guys have an off day tomorrow, and then hopefully the media is available for Thursday's practice because that's always the thing. But thank you for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button, folks. We post a ton of Jags content on this channel right now, so stay tuned for more. But let me know your thoughts on the first 2 days of OTAs, and we'll see you in a few days. Peace.